I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm David Sponheim, and this is America's Third Party. You can check us out at americasthirdparty.com. You can also watch our show at our flagship channel, Cool Rock. Yes, we're up and running at coolrock.com as well. Well, we got a lot of things to talk about. Fires in the rainforest, the Amazon rainforest, continue to burn out of control. The Brazilian president seems like he's okay with that because he wants industry to come to Brazil, which is kind of suspicious. Somebody would actually suggest that. I don't understand why they'd want to see the rainforest burn, but I guess he's okay with that. So that troubles me. And the fact that they started these fires all over the rainforest implies that they might have used a directed energy weapon like a DEW. Now, these are actually photographs of the attack in California that occurred that our government has not investigated. This is arson. They started fires in Paradise, California, and the Woolsey fire and all the other fires. These fires may have been started by directed energy weapons. These were actual photographs, so I'm not making this up. They really want to torch Earth. Now, as you sit there doing nothing and not talking about a third party, our country continues to be sucked into the vortex of the New World Order. And their primary goal is destruction. If they see the destruction of the planets down there in the rainforest, they're okay with that. Because for the past 5 years, the super rich people have been sending botanists down there to pull little plants out and put them in little containers and put them in greenhouses underground. So believe it or not, they're preserving parts of the rainforest, but they're now torching it. They don't care about the oxygen level that is produced from all of this tremendous, beautiful greenery. They'll be seeing carbon dioxide produced from the burned, scorched earth concept as it continues to industrialize down in Brazil. it turns out trees are the only thing that will really stop global climate change from happening. Well, that and stopping the chemtrails that are flying above our heads. If we put more trees in the ground and plant more trees everywhere and stop this incessant chemtrail activity, which is going on daily as we speak, I'm going to show you pictures of it right behind my back. This is going on as we speak across the globe. If we stop this chemtrail activity and the pollution that is ensuing, we will slow down, if not stop, climate change. And if we plant more trees, we'll bring more oxygen to this planet. This is not rocket science, people. This is simple, common sense. Our leaders have deflected and constantly diverted, and they act like somehow spraying in the sky is going to stop the sun from baking in. Can you imagine the stupidity of that? Polluting is going to somehow stop pollution. That's like saying starting wars all over the world will stop. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our show again. We are running into some technical difficulties, so if the show, is experiencing any outages, we have to always bring them back and keep doing it. So what I usually do is use my facility to edit these together and bring the entire show to you in one or two parts. So that's the deal. We are being attacked every night, DDoSed. And sometimes we run into problems with the computer program we're using. So to recap today, we've got a big, huge war, a trade war going on with China, expanding out to what appears to be a 30% tariff. Trump is threatening yet again. He's doubling down and now tripling down on his threats to China, and all because he refuses to listen to reason and drop the economic sanctions against Iran. He's doubling down on, tripling down on these ideas that he has. I would never have put economic sanctions back on Iran. I wouldn't have signed the treaty. That was my idea, by the way. But I said we should at least relax the economic sanctions so that they could trade. Consequently, China got stung when Meng, the CFO for Huawei, the trans communication leader in China, managed to get arrested, and then she got out on $40 million bail. But I mean, Trump is really angering China. So now they're coming back with trade problems with us. So he jacked up the tariffs on $550 billion in Chinese goods. He claims this is an unfair trading relationship, blah, blah, blah. And he keeps using muscle, like holding on to Meng and charges against her as collateral against China. And what he's doing essentially is going to cost all of us $200 or $300 more per year in our goods that we purchase at the market. So he's looking at China as an enemy, and I think it's safe to say that the Dow Jones tanking over 600 points today is an indication that we don't like the way Trump is handling a trade war with China. In fact, when he said, "Oh, we could easily win a trade war," that kind of upset a lot of people. Because there's no way we could easily win anything with a trade war with China. They're as large as our economy and perhaps even bigger in some areas. So we have to be realistic. The Dow Jones dropped 623 points on news of Donald Trump's trade war. So he's clearly mishandling the job of the presidency, which is indicative of his inability to communicate and his downright stubbornness and childlike stubbornness regarding issues like this. How do we get out of this? Well, we relax the trade problems that we currently have. We get back to a more sensible trade relationship. Solar panels should not be charged 31%. That's right. And even new solar startups in China have to be charged 250%. That's just not tenable. It's not something we can work with. Wow. There's some good news out there, aside from the fact that the Amazon rainforest is burning. I was talking about that earlier. Ethiopia is breaking ground by planting 350 million trees in 12 hours. Well, that's good. I hope they'll grow, you know. They need water to grow, but that's a great idea. Good job, Ethiopia. The fires in the region of Amazon area are not as bad as we think. I showed a picture earlier about how these fires are over dramatized. That we're looking at a fire problem, but it's not that big of a fire problem in the Amazon. I think any fire is a problem. I think we need to help out any way we can. No, I will not buy Greenland as president. No. The whole Greenland thing came up. If you're wondering, all of you people are saying, why is Trump talking about Greenland? Because Trump was discussing the collapsing ice barrier there because of global climate change. And because Donald Trump won't talk about climate change, he just picked up on the next best word, Greenland. Oh, Greenland. Oh, could we buy Greenland? He changed the subject and diverted our attention to him buying Greenland as opposed to discussing climate change, which clearly is happening in Greenland right now. So U.S. stocks have tumbled as trade war with China rattles investors. Here's the AP. Thank you, Scissor Fight. This gives us the their version, Associated Press. Yeah, they're claiming it's the trade war with China on new tariffs on $75 billion in U.S. goods. Trump's use of bumping the tariff from 25% to 30% is absurd. Because Trump didn't get his way, he's doing anything he can to manipulate the trade relationship. But Trump has some serious connections to China himself. He has over $600 million co-invested in China or loans from China. He's personally involved in Chinese business. For Trump to be allowed to conduct national trade relations with China while conducting private trade deals, like when Ivanka went over there to get his 38 trademarks approved and Xi Jinping gave her the 38 trademarks, I don't know what he got in return. Oh, right. He got Chinese chicken sent to America. That's right. They can send Chinese chicken to America now, thanks to Trump. And Xi Jinping got West Virginia mining operations, controls all the West Virginia mining operations by a national Chinese company. That's what Trump gave them for 38 trademarks. And now he's trying to negotiate more for his personal needs, throwing our national trade relationship with China under the bus. Need I say more? China prepares its nuclear option in the trade war. Guess what it is? I'm guessing. Okay. They're becoming increasingly active in Iran, China is, and is considering retaliating with what has been long described as the country's nuclear option. Okay. They're working on a gas field. A certain oil company they're investing in Iran. Wow. Okay. They're picking up their stake in Iranian gas and oil. Okay, I'm reading through this. They have major unfinished projects in Iran, like building out the Jask oil export terminal. Right, which crucially, particularly in the current security situation, does not lie within the Strait of Hormuz and doesn't pose a problem for the Gulf of Persian Gulf or the Gulf of Oman. The Karg export terminal was not ideal for use by tankers, as the narrowness of the Strait of Hormuz means that they have to go very slowly through it. So apparently China is going to invest in Iran. And obviously, Trump is doubling down on Iran, causing a trade war. Now we're dealing with China just embracing Iranian trade, and then we're going to see where that goes. They can get cheaper oil from Iran for sure than anything they're acquiring. And they are stockpiling oil, China is. So you have prophylactics made in China that you're worried about? Okay, well, there's bound to be another type of option available. I mean, most prophylactics are made in China, so maybe you're concerned about having children unnecessarily. Gina is buying up countries in Africa, and the U.S. is doing nothing. China is. You're right, China is buying up countries. They're heavily involved in Nigeria and Sudan. China is working very hard to capitalize on cheap labor in Africa. If you can imagine China capitalizing on cheap labor in Africa, China's been known for their cheap labor, but now they're trying to dominate that area too. Domingos to return to the stage amid harassment and allegations. Oh, wow, okay. Milan, Italy. Placido Domingo returns to the stage at the Salzburg Festival this weekend to perform the first time since multiple women accused the opera legend of sexual harassment and allegations brought to light by the AP. The 78-year-old Domingo has received full support from the Salzburg Festival management, and they stand behind him. Well, hopefully he'll get past the sexual harassment stage and not have to resign from his chosen profession of singing. Hey, happy 29th birthday, Mad Dog. Mad Dog, always 29. Every day of his life, he'll be 29. Happy birthday. Whee! Okay, Ministry of Love says, Dave, I heard that Obama smoked crack and that some queer performed fellatio on him. Is this true? Yes. Let me take you to the person who said he did that with Barack Obama.
Where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
I hope that resolves your problem worrying about whether Barack Obama is homosexual, because he clearly is. And Michelle is a dude, so in case you're wondering about that. I can give you more proof. I mean, we can show you Michelle with a penis dancing around, yeah, but not physical. We would never show you pictures of Michelle's penis. It's just the outline and the clothing. Okay, White House internal warnings about the economic slowdown has taken center stage. You know, let's not forget the reality that Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing. That's always a pervasive problem when dealing with discussing a person like a buffoon in office. So let's take a look at his buffoonery and where he's taken his buffoonery right now. The month Trump's economy faltered, yeah. Even as his aides warn a business climate at risk of faltering, the president has been portraying the economy to the public as phenomenal, incredible. He's told aides that he thinks he can convince Americans that the economy is vibrant and unrattled through a public messaging campaign. But the internal and external warnings that the economy could slip have contributed to a muddled and often contradictory message. Ideas that have been discussed include imposing a currency transaction tax that could weaken the dollar and make U.S. reports or U.S. exports more competitive, creating a rotation among the Federal Reserve governors that would make it easier to check the power of Jerome Powell, whom Trump has blamed for not doing all he can to increase growth, but pushing to lower the corporate tax rate to 15% in an effort to spur more investment. So look at the idea. He's actually trying to get corporations who've already received humongous tax breaks another 15% to spur investment. You know, I'm sorry, Donald, but the $5.5 trillion you've ordered him, and you Republicans have done this, you've rewarded all these really rich companies $5.5 trillion in tax breaks. That should be enough to stimulate the economy. I'm sorry, but another 15% is not going to cut it. You people are living in la la land if you think that our economy is going to grow without production. And I just talked recently about how I'm going to get the country's agricultural system going, really rejuvenate our farms, especially legalizing marijuana. I know. I'm happy that I'm still running for president despite the fact that Trump is a terrible president. So I'm just happy to be here every night. Thanks. So if you want to look at the economy, let's ask this question. How do we spur the economy and grow it? Well, for one, giving everybody in the economy at least $500 a month if you're not currently collecting disability or Social Security is my basic income plan. We'll be funding it with the infrastructure bank with a 2% loan opportunity because we'll get it directly from the Treasury windows, the window at the Treasury. A 2% loan should work just fine for American businesses hiring U.S. citizens. And we could do this to trigger growth by having U.S. businesses hire U.S. citizens at a $15 an hour minimum wage, which will trigger a lot of growth, get a lot of people employed again. And giving the farm sector a lot of money is not the answer. Rebuilding agriculture in America is. Rebuilding the soil, getting farmers to grow cover crops like hemp should really, really help. There's nothing better than mowed and turned hemp for growing vegetables and other things. It's the best compost out there. So all these ideas, including legalization of marijuana across the board, will be part of our plan to re-energize our economy. And it's already happening in some areas. We're seeing growth, rapid growth in states like Washington. Recreational marijuana is on the rise. Now, unlike the Democrats, I'm very concerned about the environment, and I'm willing to take steps that are stronger than they're willing to make. We're willing to even put higher prices on plastic bags and get plastic bags to convert to something better. And of course, our mobile medical unit system. An answer to our prayers, a lower cost healthcare system is better than a single payer plan. All right, so let's get back to the business at hand, your Friday night and what you're going to do. You know, when I was a young man, I used to go out every Friday night and Saturday night because I felt like it was expected that I hit the clubs and have a party or do something. I think I was 18, 19, and then gradually I got older and I realized, you know, Friday nights are overrated, Saturday nights are overrated. So I just started staying at home more and more, you know. Trump is facing mounting pressure over his trade war with China, which economists have blamed in part for contributing to the weakening of the global economy and causing uncertainty that has left the U.S. stock markets volatile. Really? The Ellen DeGeneres show has a background of Epstein's St. James Island? That's interesting. Have you seen that on an ad or something? Well, as you know, folks, I don't believe that Epstein's dead. I don't know. No, I've seen the palm trees many times. That's not, no. You're making that up, Max. That is not St. James Island. And I'm not Ellen DeGeneres. Although I do look a lot like her. Yeah, I know. I the same haircut, the whole deal. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked by the whole thing too. I did not plan on looking like Ellen DeGeneres, but it happens, you know. There are women that look like men. And I don't know if Ellen DeGeneres is planning on having a sex change operation. Has she chosen that? But if she did, she would look a lot like me. So Ellen, if you're listening, please don't look like me. Please don't take my place. I'd appreciate that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you ran with that idea because you thought it looked like the palm trees. You're just running with the idea, Max. Okay, let's get back to the main. It is the same hair, I agree. You got the best 4 minutes on Pizzagate? Well, we'll talk about that later tonight.
This is Pizzagate, the story of how.
Well, that's interesting. Apparently, they're letting Pizzagate back into the news thanks to the Jeffrey Epstein exposure. Yeah. I'll play that tonight. Thank you for the link. That looks good. I want to talk more about the fact that Pizzagate has been suppressed on Twitter and Reddit. If you mention it, you get your accounts taken off. That's suspicious. I'll add it to the link library tonight for sure. Bengalitis says, play this collapsing dollar video. Okay, I can do that. Oh, the glacier collapse on camera. Whoa. Yeah, there's some sort of a major Greenland glacier collapse. Why does Donald Trump want to buy Greenland if we're collapsing glaciers? So we're going to be seeing the glacier collapse right now. Let's see if... Queuing it up. Here it is. Whoa, look at this collapse. Oh no. Oh my gosh. It's collapsing. It's sinking. The whole mountain is sinking.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa. Oh my
wow.
God. And this is why Donald Trump said he wanted to buy Greenland, because it's collapsing. Yeah. Instead of talking about climate change, Donald Trump wants to talk about Greenland collapsing. No, he wants to buy Greenland. Oh, I want to buy Greenland. It's the most absurd thing ever. Yeah, there won't be anything to buy once it completely melts away. Greenland will be a body of water in a small piece of land the size of Lake Tahoe, or the island of Tahoe. The future of Greenland will be a small little piece of land. It will be worth nothing.
Did you want me to give you a break?
Yeah, I'm going to take off in just a second. Let me get you a new background. Sarah, I'm going to bring you the island of Tahoe as a background.
Then I might take a nap after.
Yeah, one more break and then you can take a nice nap and we'll maybe watch another episode tonight. If you're up to it.
Yeah.
If you're not, that's okay too. I'm getting the island of Tahoe queued up. Yeah, so that's a major problem. We just saw the breakdown of that glacier. I'm going to add it to our link library tonight.
I heard that's the thing, the freshwater lake underneath the ice is warming up.
Yeah, this will be the size of Greenland someday. That'll be Greenland.
That's like the island Tahoe.
Yeah, that's the Tahoe Island.
Is it in like Tahiti?
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere around there, yeah. It's
Tahoe.
Tahoe.
Tahoe, Tahiti?
Tahoe. Okay, Sarah's going to come in and give me a little break. Thank you. I just don't believe in buying Greenland. That's absurd. There is a freshwater lake under the ice in Greenland that's 400 meters deep. Much of the glaciers in Greenland are all over land. So how many feet down do we have to go to get to the land? I'm assuming we could drain the entire world ocean and have a lot of land too. It's kind of funny.
Welcome back.
Yeah, if only we could drain the entire ocean. Think of all the land and property value that would open up. Oh, you have the crew? I hope you feel better. No, there won't be any land left. It'll be like this size. Greenland.
There won't be land, yeah. In
This will be
about
all
10
that's
years,
left.
there won't be any Greenland.
Yeah, it's going to be all
It'll
gone.
just be, it was ice, but now there's nothing.
Yep.
Well, they'll still maybe have their seed storage facility there. I am cool. Thank you. I am pretty cool up here. Yes, it is Mad Dog's birthday. I think he's out celebrating because that's why only Mad Dog's backyard is here. 1 mile of ice that's over the lake. They have a huge crater under the ice. Interesting. take out the cake for Mad Dog's birthday? Oh, interesting. Discovered in February. New York Viking. I don't like that. I don't like that game at all. Who was this that gave me this link? I think that was Washington. I feel like that, you know, that doesn't teach you the respect for human life and human dignity that we all need to. It's our duty, our imperative to really go forward with human life and the dignity of human life. That's like just all this violence and something about Legion. Anyway, violence toward others displayed on screen is not a positive thing. Iceland Greece glacier Ökjökull vanished in 3 decades thanks to soaring temperatures. Oh, okay. So here's NASA images. I'll show them to you. This is a glacier covering a huge mountainside in the west of Iceland. 1986. Right here is 1986, and then this is 2019. That was 1986, and this is 2019. Wow. So it's slowly disappearing. Wow. In the last ice age, the glaciers over North America were 5 miles thick and melted in 200 to 300 years. So this is not new. There was a freshwater sea over central USA that was 3 miles deep when it was melting. When it broke free, there was a tsunami of 2 miles high that rushed out in one day. Trillions of gallons in one day. Wow. Danish bank offers mortgages at negative interest rates, meaning they're going to pay you money to take out a loan. Is that what it is? They're paying people to borrow money. Some banks are content to take a guaranteed small loss rather than risk bigger losses. Oh, It should be noted that even with a negative interest rate, banks often charge fees linked to borrowing, which means homeowners could still pay back more than the negative amount. Yeah, we should not be in a thaw. We should be freezing up, but we're not. Thank you, pirates. Yeah, I guess with administration, they still charge, but it is interesting. Scandinavia's biggest lender is offering a 20-year fixed rate mortgage with 0% interest. They're offering 30-year mortgages at 0.5% rate. Negative rates have been available on short-term mortgage bonds in Denmark since May. They've only just been made directly available to consumers. Yeah, so much false money going around. Yeah, David is doing David things. It's never been cheaper to borrow. This shows how scared investors are of the current situation in the financial markets and that they expect it to take a very long time before things improve. Huh. Business Insider. That's interesting. Good night. That is an early wake-up call. Do you have a doctor's appointment? Anyway, no more chatting. Just go to bed. Highly unlikely 418. Yes, your sisters are thinking of buying a house away from the coast. That's probably a good idea, especially considering climate change. There is, I forgot the site, but there's a climate time machine, maybe. I'll check this one out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We're kind of downwind from that. Is it okay, honey?
Yeah, shinyapps.io has ones in here. Good. I think we can check out. Oh yes, good. We can kind of check out, maybe not all of these, but we can see what will happen. Seattle, Washington. Oh, I'm not showing you guys, sorry. Let me look. Here is an interactive map that has some cities on it. And you can see how oh yes, okay, I want to do this one. Typical winter in Seattle, Washington is 1 degree Fahrenheit warmer and 68.6% wetter than winter. For high emissions, Oak Harbor's climate in 2080 will feel almost like today's climate near Seattle, Washington. What will the climate feel like in 60 years? What are there other options? That's not exactly what I was looking for. It predicts the climates. I should do interactive maps that shows water rise. I don't know if this is it either. Yeah, that's not it. I will have to go back and look at my notes and see if I can find it. I don't know why David has a picture of Ellen DeGeneres on the screen. Okay, anyway, moving on. I don't know my IQ. I've never had it tested. I do know that I got a scholarship from Mensa. So I think that was pretty cool. Yes, I agree with you, 418. A lot of people in the US don't like him either. Oh my goodness, Charlie, that's just unreal. Yeah, that's true about the Gulfstream 600. Washington, why are you pushing all this propaganda video stuff? Nah, I don't think so, Cliff. I guess depending on who it's coming from, I guess it shouldn't surprise me, right, Cliff? Oh, okay. Anyway. China slaps tariffs on $75 billion worth of U.S. products. Washington Examiner thinks that Trump needs to stop playing China's tariff game. Oh, David Cook died. The billionaire who fueled right-wing the movement. Wow. No, I did not fall asleep. I will fall asleep after the show, but then I feel like I need some dye in my hair. Maybe McDundy. I think I'm still on.
Okay.
Okay.
I reset those things outside.
Oh, good. Thank you. Sarah, I know what? Dreamboard City? What? Okay. The sky in Sao Paulo blackened due to smoke drifting from the fires that were 1,700 miles away. So there's the dry season is happening in Brazil now. Hello, A Spade. You guys, do I need to refresh? No. The show is not over. I guess I can come back. Okay. I should be on now. I think. It's just, sorry. It was probably just quiet sounds. Okay, it looks like you lost video on Vaughn, but okay. Video is back now. All right, they're talking about fires in Brazil. There are some of the fires are to be expected, but many of the fires burning through the Amazon are believed to have been started deliberately. The president in Brazil supports clearing the Amazon for agriculture and mining. The government has not made any effort to prevent the forest fires. All right. Brazil's satellite agency found there's been an 84% increase in the number of fires compared with the same period in 2018. Wow. France's President Emmanuel Macron has threatened to scrap a huge trade deal with Brazil or the European Union and South America as a result if they don't end the burning in the Amazon. Yeah, good point, Club Kid. The world's lungs are on fire. What could go wrong? Well, actually, they say that lungs are really in the oceans. According to that, there's some Netflix documentary I was watching with all the algae in the ocean. The president of Brazil is calling the armed forces who have resources to tackle the water using helicopters and airplanes to drop water. The journalist says that's just talk. Oh, it's not only Brazil, it's parts of Bolivia and Paraguay. Good point, McDundee. I think Salty will be okay since he's on the water. Some are clearing land for development, but some are, well, like, it's not big companies, they were saying. It was, this is according to BBC, by the way. I'll give you a link. It's like smaller farmers are setting the fires, and they're not being stopped by, and no one's stopping them, so it could be a lot of small farms. The fires were not being reported very widely in Brazil, so other news agencies had not been reporting them before. You said it happens every year, but they say it's a 80-something% increase this year.
What?
Versus last year, the fires in the Amazon.
Yeah, but I just read a report from a current weather station. Max sent me something saying it's grossly over-exaggerated.
And Misanthropy said he sent you something too, saying it happens every year.
I think it's more like, let's talk about the Amazon rainforest, because Epstein doesn't look like he died in the jail cell. Change of subject, diversion tactic. It looks like he lived and he got out of there, and then somebody else died in his place. Video's back on. Okay, that was censored just now. In case you missed what I was saying. Klubeck Club Kid said, perhaps, David, good point. Yeah. Looks like a diversion tactic, the Amazon rainforest burning. And all the liberals are just going to, get all poo-poo about it. Tonight people are talking about the Amazon rainforest, not the fact that Epstein's death mask doesn't look at all like Epstein. So did you click Misanthropy's link there on Earth Observatory?
Yeah, I'm show people.
Okay. Does it look like it's a real bad situation?
Well, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
I'm still in 2004 right now.
Okay, good. Right on. So somebody was wondering, how do you get into the show on our channel? Well, if you can't find us at americasthirdparty.com on our video casting buttons, you can always catch us at coolrock.com. And you know, we started Cool Rock in 2005. Really, I got the website in 1995, 10 years earlier. But we first started this whole effort as a way of coming up with environmental solutions to solve planetary climate problems. Thus the word Cool Rock. Cooling the beautiful rock of Earth. Yes. Yeah, it's kind of a cool site. Yeah, you know, you can move everything around on there if you want, X out of any screen, and whenever you want, refresh your screen, and it comes right back up. It's pretty cool. And I'm not trying to, divert our attention from any subject, even the Russian involvement in the election. But it's getting like the subjects are stale, and the only good thing we should talk about is how we can stop these people from corruption and lying to us and all that.
I see what you mean. It is an annual event.
Yeah, it's kind of an annual fire, and they're just saying, oh, the Amazon rainforest is
on fire, but it's on fire every August. This is August. I'm going to go back a little bit.
No one at Cool Rock tried to sell you drugs, dude. God, you're just... Nobody's housing that site. We are the only 2 chat rooms at Cool Rock, and nobody here is trying to sell you drugs. Okay?
That was June of last year.
It does happen annually, but the Democrats are making a big deal of it. Well, Cliff, I'd rather talk about Donald Trump's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Whereas the mainstream media and the powerful elites want us to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Ace Spade believes Cool Rock is the future of the internet. I agree. You know, we don't harvest any cookies. It's fun and it's free at coolrock.com.
Okay, I won't worry about fires then. Thank you.
We don't need to worry about the fires, Sarah. It happens all the time. They're just making a big deal about it to divert our attention.
Yeah, it happens every year, yeah.
I like what Hogslammer's doing. He's taking the entire website feed of Vaughn and putting it on iBlog. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, thank you, Hogslammer.
That's pretty cool. Thank you, Hogslammer. So we can read both of them at the same place. Get some sleep. You need it.
I think yes.
You haven't been getting enough sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, if you're not up at around 11, I won't wake you. Don't worry. I don't really want to have another round of Game of Thrones. We had 2 really good episodes today.
I think 3.
3. We just found out that the dragons are alive. We're just starting out Game of Thrones, Sarah and I.
We just finished season 1. We're going to start season 2.
We just finished season 1, and the dragon eggs came alive. It was the coolest ending to season 1. It's like, boom, brought it all together. And here I thought dragons were a thing of the past, and now Game of Thrones brought them back. First death from vaping-linked lung illness reported by Illinois health officials. Oh my gosh, a person has been vaping and getting some sort of an emphysema-like illness. Let's take a look. A patient has died after suffering a mysterious lung illness linked to vaping. Wow. Severe respiratory illness. No details of how he died. That's kind of empty. No specifics whatsoever. A cluster was reported in Wisconsin dating back as early as late, but they don't talk about the symptoms. The severity of illness people are experiencing is alarming. We must get the word out that e-cigarettes and vaping are dangerous. But again, no specific statements about the symptoms. Yeah, I've seen these stories. The tobacco company puts them out. They're like, no proof whatsoever. No, there's no proof at all. No, there's nothing there. You have been removed from the show. You will not be allowed to post here anymore. This is a gross violation of our terms of service rules. Yeah, normally I would give you guys a chance to come in here and with that name, but I don't allow that. I don't know why people watch that dumb stuff. Yeah, I know. Bye, Anne. Yeah, Anne had to lose her Deep Ellen Blues account, or shall I say his. Anne is this raging transgender drag king, antique. Yeah. And I think it's great that you're a transgender, Anne. I really do. But you keep using the N-word, and it's inappropriate here. I don't support transgenderism in the way that you think I support you. I don't mind you doing cross-dressing, but I don't want you to chop your penis off. I think that's really cruel and self-injurious. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say cutting your penis off is definitely self-injurious. I know psychiatrists might disagree. Actually, all psychiatrists agree it is self-injurious behavior. Exactly. Misanthropy said exactly what you can do. Right. That's a perfectly appropriate word. Huang Guang. All right, so diversion techniques, not talking about Jeffrey Epstein's fake picture, covering up and obscuring the whole thing. And now we found out that, thank you, Misanthropy and others, that Donald Barr, the father of William Barr, our Attorney General, was the first guy to hire Jeffrey Epstein at a pedophile prep school. A pedophile's wet dream prep school, where he was surrounded by 15-year-old girls when he taught math. And he didn't even have, Jeffrey Epstein didn't even have a degree from a college. But Donald Barr, the father of William Barr, hired him anyway. So I'm spreading the word. I want everybody to spread the word about this. William Barr should recuse himself on the Epstein case, and this needs to be handed over to a grand jury. That's the only chance we have to get our hooks into the story and pry it open and find out what's inside. You know? Wasn't that a Rod Stewart song? Spread your legs and let me come inside. Whoa, tonight's the night. Anyway, oh, was he Mad Dog? Okay, I thought it was the other guy. Well, he's been doing that too. Look at this cool inside picture of a Stradivarius. Is this not the coolest thing ever? Yeah. Tonight's the night. That was a song I heard when I was in my teenage years, and it was a Rod Stewart song. Yeah, it was one of his biggest hits. I should play it tonight. Staying current. Classic. You'll hear the first few notes, you'll hear it immediately. Here we go. Yeah, I love it. Okay, I'll play that later. So, Forever Young was a good song too. Oh God, you know that's a good one too. Yeah. I'll have to play that too. Boy, you're really into adding to my playlist tonight. I'll play it as well. Okay, thank you very much for the tips. Build it and they will come. I know. Klubkeg said Donald Barr couldn't have worked with Jeffrey Epstein at Dalton High School because he wasn't even there when Epstein worked there. He had resigned months earlier. Epstein was announced as a new hiring long after Barr left. I don't know about that. Our records show that he had a strong influence over the hiring practices at that time. Jeffrey Epstein was a teacher of little girls. That's how he started his history of being a pedo. He started molesting kids in his mathematics school at the prep school that Donald Barr worked at. Is that better? Thank you. I know. It's obvious that Klubkid is a plant by the CIA. We are watching his current chat and using ChatDar to determine his viability as a chatter. I am processing all of the chat show using a brand new unpatented developed tool I call ChatDar, in which I analyze the subsequent nature of your chat. Using powerful artificial intelligence logic, I'm able to conclude exactly who you are and where you are. You are currently next to a red lamp. It is approximately 17 feet from an LED screen, 52 inches long. Could you turn your webcam off? Thank you. I really would appreciate it. You know, they have these little things you can put over them to get rid of it. That little thing that shuts the webcam off. I'd appreciate that. And the NSA would too. We're getting tired of looking at you. How's the coffee? Very good, Juan. It reminds me of the rich Colombian coffee my great-grandfather used to use. My grandfather, actually. My grandfather was in the South American continent, speaking of the Brazilian rainforest. He used to work on the plantations down there. Elron believes, David, it's like you're stating my feelings. I'm speaking to the heart of all people, Elron. Every night I do the show, because I'm completely unscripted, real, virtual, interactive, I feel the pulse of humanity. That's one of my best attributes, I think, is I'm really in tune with all of the ideas and things that people really want to think and feel. I listen. Club Kid said, David just described my living room to a T. I know, that's what I'm saying. Turn the webcam off, dude. Well, I don't want to freak everybody out about Amazon and the fires there, so I'm not going to run the script that the Democrats have been pitching. Yes, more than 2,500 campfires are going on in the Amazon forest. Typically, the Yanomami start 15 of them every night for their perennial dinner, where they turn to the Yanomami leaders and ask, have you got any root for today's Wamamama food? And typically the husband says, no, I don't grow that noodle. That's woman's job. Okay. We've lost a lot of the Brazilian rainforest already, but they're making a big deal about it because they don't want us to talk about, you guessed it, you know, they want to distract us as much as possible. Just like, boom. Distraction time. They put Ocasio out there with a new statement. Yeah, let's talk about something else. The Democrats are being led like a bunch of sheep into not wanting to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. The handwriting on the wall, basically. You look at the noses here. Oh, sorry. Ocasio, do you mind? I mean, you're so greedy for attention. Anyway, the noses here are just absolutely not the same nose. So instead of talking about the obvious fact that the Epstein case is a fakery, the Democrats are all worried about the Amazon rainforest when we found out that it's not even burning any more than any other year. Now, you can't tell me that nose, that schnoz, is the schnoz of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm sorry. It just isn't. It's too curved to be Epstein's schnoz. When you look at Epstein's schnoz, you see like a straight one. Look at this. It's more like my schnoz, except it has more of a, a tilt down here. Like it has that typical dip under here, but it's a straight line, like my nose, not a curved line. Clearly, we're dealing with two different noses. Now, that being the case, we clearly are being lied to. I mean, this is like lie 101. Classic. I mean, look. Oh, sorry. Hi. Peace, man. But look at the nose there. There's just no way. The nose knows. So that's why they're talking about Amazon rainforest time. Diversion time. Anything else in the news we have to talk about besides this declining stock market at the end of the week? 600 and some odd points down. Yeah. It's a terrible day for a lot of investors. And the ears are off too. That's correct, Club Kid. I don't want to get into the ears. We're going to save the ears for next week. We've been doing the nose this week. We'll do the ears next week. It's one way to milk a story. I'm here for your assistance. If I can provide you any information at all, I would. That's credible. But right now, we're still reeling from this past week and the Trump administration making ridiculous, outrageous statements all week long and topping it off with this one.
I am the chosen one.
Yeah, well, you were chosen, all right. You were chosen to be a puppet by the elite oligarchs, Russian oligarchs, and the American Zionists. And just like Biden is a Zionist puppet, we've got two-party puppets running for our presidency, and our country has slipped into this chasm of not knowing what to do, where to go, how to lead. how to even follow. I mean, we've got a complete imbecile for a president, and here we are on the brink of no real growth in the economy, no production, that manufacturing to speak of. We've seen a decline in manufacturing over the past, I'd say, 60 years that's deplorable. Well, let's be clear. We've had a lot of lies from Donald Trump and Barack Obama and other presidents, and this has been going on for some time. We still see solar panels rolling out at high prices, but some of us have found some good deals out there, if you're lucky. But yeah, it looks more and more like the American people are going to have to learn innovation and figure out a couple ways to do it. And you need leadership in that area. And that's what I plan on offering. I have a couple winning ideas I think could kick this off. And we introduced these ideas early on in our Hybrid Capitalism book. But the concept really is a job plan for America that you can really sink your teeth into. And get a job making $15 an hour, working on houses, fixing them up and making them nice like this, and maybe you could own a house like that. In fact, you could own a house like this for 10 years at $500 a month payments. You'll own this house outright. We'll get $60,000 for that house. We'll sell that house to you fully prepared, ready to go for $50,000 if you've got capital to do it and you're not an investor and this is your first house and you've been saving money all these years. We'll even throw a rooftop solar panel system on top included in the deal. Yeah, that's what we're planning, and we can use existing HUD dollars to do this. Flipping houses and taking that profit and going right back into the government, buying some depressed housing, foreclosed, condemned, fixing it up again, and rolling that money forward, paying it forward. It is a brilliant idea. And it's something that can be done on a small scale to start with in every city in America, and build teams that are good at what they do, working collaterally with Home Depot and Lowe's to buy in bulk, get up a good accounts that can get good bulk deals on roofing and get Berber carpeting. Nothing more industrial proof than dark Berber carpeting. Like brown Berber. I mean, I don't think anything's more industrial than that. I mean, you can spill anything on brown Berber and it'll clean it up with a steam cleaner and it's good to go again. The pool was a little extra. I think we may want to just do a greenhouse or something. Yeah, like a portable greenhouse in the back for their victory garden. Well, we hope to have more water, that's for sure. It's another plan to create the Ocean Pipeline, which will be a small project to start with in the Central California, Kern County area. My goal is to rejuvenate the entire area we know as Kern County, which is completely depleted with nitrates, the soil, affecting the growth of tomatoes. A lot of tomato producers out there, Del Monte, Hunts, they rely on really good quality soil, and the soil in Central California is just a mess. It's collapsing. So I want to get a solution rolling that will rejuvenate the soil and make it much more fully functional. So the Ocean Pipeline idea is another concept that will lead to some jobs initially. We can work with companies like Dow Chemical if we had to. I don't like Dow Chemical, but I know that they're not going to be happy with me when I have cut back on their production of Roundup, because I plan on shutting that off the market. Instead, we'll be developing plastics with Dow Chemical, like the polycarbonate, and retool them and get them up and running toward producing something good with plastic as opposed to useless with plastic. The Ocean Pipeline project is essentially an idea of desalination where no fossil fuel is required. We could use water or rather solar and wind power to push the water into the vessels. Each one of these is a separate module that can be stacked and packed on 18-wheelers and sent out and deployed. This is lined with black plastic that's completely rollable. These are troughs that can come in sets that bolt on with gaskets along the sides. This polycarbonate structure is the stackable unit. We could stack maybe 20 or 30 of these on one 18-wheel truck. And same with freight trains. We can train them to certain areas to develop pipelines anywhere inland from the coastline of our country. These pipelines will be the next source of growth and population growth in our country. And we'll have model communities really based on the tiny house concept, where people can actually park next to one of these units and tap into the water, the fresh water there, and electricity, and automatically start living, homesteading. And that's the concept, to build a re-agrification of our country, was something I talked about earlier, but this is the regrowth of our country, an expansion of our country, so that it follows brand new pipelines of geography that could be a nexus of growth. And we know that geography starts when water is flowing and railroads are flowing. Well, we'll have the maglev rail system too, we'll be able to offer, which will be interesting, and a startup idea for our country to like move toward that direction. But throwing big money in one place, not a good idea. Wasting money, not a good idea. All right. The mainstream media can handle me. I don't need to handle them. The intel community can follow what I'm doing. I've done my show already from this perspective, that I've already they've been watching me for some time. Since 2009, I noticed that we were getting censored pretty heavily, and right after that, I noticed that some of my contacts on the ground that I know of, my safe house for one, was intercepted by somebody from the government trying to find out who I was, where I lived. We had a person down there in the local community where my safe house is tell me, do you know anybody in a certain pickup truck that asking about you, this and that? I said, no, man, I don't. So I know that the intel community is out there looking at me. They're fully aware of what I'm doing, so I'm more than willing to handle them too. I'm doing nothing against the law because I believe America can pull out of this with good, solid, sound, common sense thinking. Oh, I heard about this. Yeah, Obama was asking, he was ruminating on various issues on the campaign trail. He asked, what if Obama had been assassinated? It's like, well, why are you talking about that now? Yeah, it's like, why is Biden bringing that up? It's just totally irrelevant. And he's bringing up subjects that are seemingly the sign of a type of chronic brain syndrome where he doesn't know what he's talking about, so he's like pontificating on new ideas. What if, yeah, why are we even discussing such a horrid thought, you know? So I think it's time for the nursing home. Joe, you're 76 years old, it's time to check in. Unless, of course, you pick me as your running mate, then we'll talk. Yeah, I think it's time for a nursing home for him. What if? Oh, what if Barack Obama was born in Kenya? Oh, what if? I wish we could entertain that discussion. I believe Obama was born in Kenya, but I mean, what's the point of talking about the birther issue now? I mean, we already know that that's a long gone story. Hi there, Bustarama. Bustarama. We have a lot of things on tap about Obama, which we bring into the show frequently. But bringing up his transgender wife, it really isn't that important, other than to describe the fact that they lied to us. You know? They lied to us.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That was shocking. Even after watching it over 500 times, it's still shocking. All right, so I was reading a story today about a journalist who said that it's better that we have a president who thinks he's the chosen one than a woman drinking spirit cooking blood.
I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one.
Well, I don't know. There's no evidence Donald Trump has been drinking spirit cooking blood, but there's no evidence Hillary Clinton has either. So I am, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I still enjoy looking at the obvious fraud behavior of Michelle Obama dancing there. I mean, letting it all hang out, you know. At least you know I'm a dude, you know. I'm not like pretending to be a woman or something. That would be freaky. It's not like I come into the show pretending to be a woman and it's like, oh yeah, Dave, sure. We all know that you're actually a famous actress on Game of Thrones. How do we know that? Well, I mean, look at your face, dude. Well, yeah, it does look very similar. I will admit that there's some solid similarities here. But I'm not Brienne Tarth. I've got a high voice. Hey, dude, stay away from that goblet. Oh, sorry. But no, I'm not Brienne of Tarth either. I just started watching the Game of Thrones. I've been waiting this long just to get into it, and it's a kind of a refreshing thing. I was telling Sarah, it's almost like being jerked around. You don't know, the person you think should be your hero in the show gets his head cut off. Oh, and don't forget the midget love scene. And all the soft porn anyone could ever want. Go, oh, honey, I'm just going to watch the Game of Thrones. And it's like, okay. So in other words, somebody's going to be watching some soft porn. Okay, yeah. They're mainstreaming it now. It's in the family. And I don't want kids to see that kind of stuff, so I would seriously not have your family watch Game of Thrones. It's just a little bit too risque, in my opinion. Anyone under 18. Yeah, it would make me feel really uncomfortable if I had to sit there with a family around me, like watching this weird. Anyway. Okay. There is a North Korean uranium plant, pouring oil into the, or rather dangerous uranium drainage into the ocean. North Korea. That's right, the North Korean uranium plant leaking radioactive waste in a nearby river, putting hundreds of thousands of people at risk of cancer and brain defects. Pyeongsan uranium plant turns ore into yellow cake, which can be used for fuel. Chemical process produces highly toxic wastewater, which is sent to reservoir. But satellite photos show pipe which carries waste is leaking into nearby river. Researcher Jacob Bogle says waste will contain radioactive radium as well as heavy metals, putting about 400,000 people at risk of cancer and brain defects. But isn't that nothing compared to Fukushima? I mean, don't you think we should talk about the leaking radiation dump at Fukushima? I mean, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. That's just really weird. So we should make a big deal about North Korea when we've got Fukushima? I think we should care about both. I think we should reach out, and I think since Donald Trump is very close to Kim Jong-un, he should make a personal phone call and go, "Hey, Kim, I want to talk to you about your uranium leakage." Yeah, anyway. I'm concerned, but what are you going to do? You know, I mean, they're just leaking it into their own country and they're killing their own people off. No, nobody's showing anything. Here's the Amazon rainforest. The coverage of the subject has only come to light recently because of the Pray for Amazonians and Pray for Amazonia hashtag. Why have you not reported it earlier? Yeah, exactly. Everybody's all worried about Amazon now because of certain propaganda techniques to push the Amazon rainforest. This is the same number of fires that have been going on in the rainforest for years. Seriously. So it's all about diversion. When Donald Trump was approached about Greenland, he was wondering, I can't talk about climate gate. I won't talk about climate change. How much does Greenland cost? I'll buy it. It's just a diversion tactic. Oh, sure, you're going to buy Greenland. Yeah, whatever. I've covered all the stories I need to cover. Even making a Faraday blanket. I think we're good there, yeah. The month Trump's economy faltered. Yeah. Well, it's happening, and he's not willing to admit it's a recession, so we'll see where this goes, but Trump isn't making any big moves. Moving money around and offering a 15% discount on or a lowering of taxes on rich people isn't going to spawn investment. We need avenues of investment. Now, what our economy is, probably the biggest problem with our economy is we've got venture capitalists that would rather get people involved in an investment, bring in the money, and then cut and run. That's been plaguing our nation for some time. What am I going to do about North Korea? I'll tell you in just a sec. They have a cut and run mentality, like venture capitalists that invest in solar panels. Make the money up front. Don't even produce the product, like Solyndra that got $530 million from Barack Obama. Just closed down, went bankrupt, and pocketed the money. But these venture capitalists are really, really at the very crux of our problem. That's why we don't get manufacturing growing, because our government isn't leading in any one area. Now, what I plan on doing is I plan on opening up a university for unmanned vehicles. University of Unmanned Vehicles, UUV. Yeah. And we want to create the UUV right here where I live. That's what I want to do. I want to convert the Navy base to a university dedicated to unmanned vehicles. Okay. This is one area we want to build an industry, and we want the government, the Navy, to actually do this. And that's a big difference between that and venture capitalists saying, oh yeah, we'll bid on that project and screw the government and your tax dollars out of huge amounts of money. A different approach to business. And a university like that that's dedicated to educating people in unmanned vehicle technology, solar panel technology, electronics. We already have one of the best electronics education systems in the entire world right here on this island. People come from all over to study electronics from our local university. So we can do this. Okay, this is a picture of Naomi Campbell with Ghislaine Maxwell and John of God and Heidi Klum and Harvey Weinstein and at the Google map, and it's all starting to become clear. British royalty, Obama, Katy Perry, Bradley Cooper, Naomi Campbell, Jeffrey Epstein, Naomi Campbell and Ghislaine Maxwell, there she is. Oh my gosh, look at these people. Harvey Weinstein, you're starting to see the underbelly of this entire network of people that are working behind the scenes. And they protect each other. Harvey Weinstein won't face any charges unless, of course, the Sopranos actress is called, and she is right now going to be their next witness. Sopranos actress Annabella Sciorra has accused Harvey Weinstein of raping her, and she's the backup witness. So apparently the government needs two women to claim that Harvey raped them in order to get the suit off the ground. Otherwise, Harvey's going to try to suppress the suit. He's got the best lawyers in the world. But this is the woman, you probably remember her from when Tony Soprano, had a fling with her out in the parking lot of the auto dealer, the Mercedes auto dealership. Well, anyway, this is a beautiful woman, and she claims she was raped by Harvey Weinstein, and her testimony is crucial. So we'll see where that goes. Yeah. She's so pretty, isn't she pretty? Italian women. No, Naomi Campbell, it doesn't control it all, Bustorama. She's one of the many wranglers, the people that they bring in to bring other people in.
News with Rick Sanchez began report.
I mean, if you're saying you're having a gathering and Naomi Campbell's going to be there, there's a lot of people that want to come there. She's a magnet for rich people. That's how you work the rich end. Then he got these girls, these goyles, to be wranglers on the other end and bring women in who were underage. This is how he did it. And this is how he's still doing it, because he's pretty much, operating on the sly right now, pretending to be dead. Recruiters like these two women. They're with a famous businessman named Brockman, and he happened to be at the party. I'm not accusing him of being, with these girls, but these girls are over 18, and one next to me right here is 30 years old. She doesn't look it, does she? Well, she was able to bring in the 15-year-olds into that group. Meanwhile, Naomi Campbell and her name attracts a lot of rich people. You see how this works? It's like networking. You need a kingpin like Naomi Campbell to bring them in, to wrangle them. So, that being the case, yeah. Make the right moves, make the right connections. You got yourself a veritable operation of taking people into your home on Orgy Island. Jeffrey would invite them and then lure them into some sex act with a younger person, not knowing that person is really 16 or 17, not 18. Telling the person that person is 18. He wouldn't be above doing that too. And then you have no idea that he could probably tell some guy like a senator. George Mitchell was one of them that came over there and was apparently at that location, famous senator. But anyway, bringing them in and then bringing people together with Naomi Campbell, and then you've got yourself a little cadre of both levels. Yeah, coming together. Just making friends, but really hooking people up and blackmailing them. Videotaping them and blackmailing them. Yes, I just hit the dragons are born. Yeah, the dragons are born in this episode of Game of Thrones. We talked about the former Overstock CEO yesterday. But yeah, the CEO of Overstock.com is resigning over disclosing that he was involved in a relationship with Maria Butina, the Russian agent who's now serving 18 months for working with the NRA and also Republican senators. Yes, now the Overstock.com CEO has resigned over this FBI investigation, linking him to Marina Butina. Maria Butina is now being charged. She's in jail right now, I understand. But this 57-year-old had been hooked up with her. He had a romantic relationship with Maria Butina. You know what's really strange to me, though, aside from this story? I mean, I understand him getting out of there and hoping that prices will remain. It closed 8.3% higher in Thursday's trading, but followed a drop of nearly 38% a week ago. So Overstock went down 38% a week ago, and now it went up 8.3%. So it's bound to rebound. Either way, I'm more concerned about the NRA and their lack of communication on the subject. That's the part I'm a little bit freaked out about. The NRA has made no comments whatsoever about the $30 million they gave Donald Trump during the election. And ironically, the NRA is now facing bankruptcy. The National Rifle Association is thinking about committing to Chapter 11 because they're running out of money. Now, isn't that ironic that they not only have not commented about the Maria Butina case and the money that she and other Russians had donated to the NRA, but they won't comment about any of it, and they're talking about bankruptcy like cut and run, get the hell out of here. Yeah, so we got to keep our eyes on the NRA. They're definitely possibly going to walk, for real, after giving Donald Trump $30 million that could have been Russian laundered money. And they never had the donations they got the previous year before. It all came all at once, and we believe Russia may have been a big contributor. Now you got Isaac Cappy on some bridge on the overpass. Somebody has a cam footage of the overpass that was videotaping Isaac Cappy. Okay, so this guy's got a cam, and he's going down the road, and he sees Isaac Cappy on the bridge overpass. This is cam footage that just came out. He's sitting on the overpass right before he fell. Now here's the cam footage coming up. He's coming up on the overpass here. There he is, right there. Whoa. That is Isaac Cappy. Wow, look at that. This is about as close as we can get. He's just sitting there. That's him. Well, it was one fateful day on the overpass, yeah. Here's the full clip in slow motion. Oh, I don't want to see the full clip without the slow motion. Hey, thank you very much. Interesting. I'll add it to my linked library tonight. Yeah, why not? You know, Freedom Friday is about how our government has been suppressing our freedoms. You think it looks like a mannequin, really? What do you want to talk about? You still think Russia handled the election to Donald Trump just wow? Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? Russia is totally in Donald Trump's back pocket, Club Kid. Yeah. He could have been dead already. Yeah, he didn't look like he was moving. Yeah. Isaac Cappy was a guy who was running his mouth off, claiming he had evidence on Tom Hanks being a pedophile. And then Isaac Cappy was dead at, what, 42 or something, right after that? He kept talking about Tom Hanks. Yeah. But regarding your question, Club Kid, yeah, the Spygate's going deep. In fact, Devin Nunes has got blinders on. It's definitely a Russian Republican and Democrat convention. The connection is deep. It all goes through the two-party system. In fact, Mitch McConnell has received Russian money for re-election. Lindsey Graham received $800,000 to get reelected over the past 3 years from a Russian oligarch. This Russian connection goes all the way through Republican and Democratic Party. Our country's at risk, dude. If you want me to drop the subject about Donald and the Russians like the Democrats did, you came to the wrong show. We need accountability. I would have pursued impeachment. I can't believe the Democrats are so weak. I'm shocked, in fact. He has more bus videos in our lineup. New playlist. 1908. Check it out. I can bring them down. I got multiple bus videos. I like buses. No, I do. I don't mind seeing the buses being reconverted. I think that's cool. I have no problem. Those are good videos. I even have a tiny house section. I might even put them in there. I might make a bus playlist. Yeah. But right now they're in our loop, and I could replay them tonight if you want. As part of your Freedom Friday thing, getting out on the road and converting a bus and all that. I'll play a few of them tonight. I will. Count on it. Yeah, Donald Barr, William Barr's father, wrote a book, and we did feature that story that Misanthropy got us the other night. Remember Donald Barr, the guy I told you who hired, or at least was at the university before Jeffrey Epstein was hired? He probably had a lot of influence. He wrote a book called Space Relations by Donald Barr. And it was a paperback from 1974. And in the reviews, I want to read this to you. It said, I have a copy of this book. It was really badly written, whose only excuse seems to be to refer to human trafficking and sex slavery, either as an appeal to prurient interest, in which case it fails, or to relate reminiscence in fiction, or possibly as a payoff because the dialogue and connecting thoughts are lacking, as well as any real plot, even after the book is read. The writer seems to like putting everything in terms of girls and boys and children, even when the scenes do not necessarily, but often do, involve kids. So while, for instance, the 14-year-old girl getting raped in the first few chapters is really supposed to be 14, the hero of the book, in danger of being sodomized, says, bend down, kid, and make it good, is not supposed to be a kid. It is that way throughout the book. They are either labeled like they are children, the queen was a child, or actually boys or girls. So it pretty much starts with the word naked and goes from there. So his father wrote this ridiculous sci-fi dedicated to embedding sex in the 1974 book with children. Yeah. And it costs a whopping $998. Yeah. The price just went up. If you just want a copy of this book, it's going to be $998. Yeah. Paperback is $998. So what's going on here? This site gets all these hits the past few days. They price it up to $998. You know Amazon's in on that. I'm sure of it. Larry Sinclair's book, the one he wrote, and we've been talking about Larry Sinclair. Xenu said he was going to buy Larry Sinclair's book, and he said he was going to pay like $698 for it. Isn't that ridiculous? Oh yeah, total perversion out there. Well, I'm not into that whole thing. I really don't even want to talk about it. I'm more concerned about the leftist takeover of the Democratic Party and the right-wing corporate takeover of the Republican Party by Russian oligarchs. That's my primary concern. So I'm going to kind of like get rid of a few links here that are just boring.
China, not the only country to retaliate against the Trump administration today. In an angry televised announcement, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered his military officials to prepare a, quote, symmetrical response to a U.S. missile test that was conducted in California just this week.
Given the newly emerging circumstances, I instruct the ministries and relevant departments to analyze the level of threat posed by the actions of the United States to our country and take comprehensive measures to prepare a symmetrical response.
Well, here's a guy who openly said he's got torpedoes that could wipe out our entire coastline last year. Recently announced he has a missile that can go 27 times the speed of any other missile, actually the speed of sound, Mach 27. This is not some guy who's not provoking America. He's all about provoking America. And if he wants to create a symmetrical response, that's what this whole thing's about. It's all about arms buildup. And whoever's pulling his strings, whoever Russian oligarchs bought Vladimir Putin, want to make money on tactical weapons, short-term, intermediate, or long-range nuclear weapons. Whoever wants to make money here in the U.S., they don't see a reason to have a treaty. They don't see a reason to work out any type of short-range, minimum, short, intermediate range missile treaty. Nothing. The small, limited nuclear weapons are very valuable. They can make a lot of money on those things, both his side and ours. So since both economies hinge predominantly on defense, it's more than obvious that these countries are not making any pacts and they're working together to keep the arms buildup going. And that doesn't bode well for the human race. Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Martin Luther King. Cool. You got the Cult of Personality. Yeah, In Living Color is a very good African Americans doing some really good humor. I'll play that tonight. Yeah. Thanks. I can't wait. They are In Living Color was one of the most talented comedic shows out there. I thought it was way better than like Seinfeld or anything like that. Did you know, I was telling this to somebody, did you know that all the stars on Friends, the sitcom Friends, every one of those players got $1 million per episode? Isn't that freaky? It's like, how in the hell did they negotiate a contract where they all got $1 million to sit there and be unfunny? I mean, really? Maybe you laughed. I don't know. I don't want to take that away from you. That one moment in your life where you laughed at the Friends show. Okay, now I'm drawing for my bag of tricks because I think I need to. Ah, yes, good. I've got other links. Right. Oh, yes, let's not forget this. This is pretty fun. Well, this is a good Friday night topic. Back in 1999, there was a website promoting Trump escort services called Trump International, or TrumpEscorts.com. And in 1999, this really did exist, and Trump never filed a lawsuit against them for name infringement. So I pulled this up out of archive.org, and you can check it out yourself and pass it on to people. But this is one heck of an admission right here of a major problem with a president who appears to have been a pimp. Yeah. Well, the women there at the world's finest travel companions, upscale escort agency. Doesn't it sound like copy Donald would write? Seeking some playful company, an elegant high-class escort date, an educated, adventurous travel companion. Trump International Escorts is an elite escort agency that creates experience to trump all others. There are beautiful women everywhere. I mean, this is really, it sounds like, whoa, sorry. They were in underwear. They're all wearing lingerie, but isn't this weird? How the hell did this thing operate in around 1999 and get away with it and not call this guy a pimp? And then I found out that our entire Chinese foreign policy and our trade policy is connected to Donald Trump and his trademark deal for Trump escort service. So Donald Trump really has a trademark, I'm not making this up, for Trump escort service. Trump Escorts is a trademark name in Beijing right now. Tell me we're not a little confused about our Chinese trading policy when we had to negotiate with China over his trademarks before we could get to our trade policy. Can you believe this? I'm in a state of shock that this country is this stupid, led by an absolute buffoon. We don't know. You got to go to China to meet the escorts. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure if I made a phone call, to Beijing tomorrow, I'd probably be blocked by the national Chinese government. I wouldn't want to do that. You know what I'm talking about? Plus, it would probably violate the Logan Act, which I'm not going to do. Yeah, well, that's your problem, man. We're dealing with a president, not a pimp. Yeah, calling him a pimp, I have no proof. I can't verify this. I can't say, yeah, this guy's been pimping. But you can certainly, go to the court of public opinion and analyze what I just said and decide for yourself. So, who here was the one that recommended I watch Love, Death, and Robots? It was all full of feminist and anti-man propaganda, misanthropy. Dude, you're very sensitive. Any anti-man propaganda, you're very sensitive. Maybe it was misanthropy who told me to watch it? I don't know. Well, I'm not watching it. Tiddly D says, if Antifa are idiots. Wow. Okay. I think they're making money doing that. I think that whole Antifa rally in Portland was a complete put on. I wouldn't doubt they got money directly from George Soros to go out there in those stupid vehicles.
So you thought Antifa, the group that assaults wheelchair users and violently attacks people for having a different opinion, couldn't damage its own brand any further? Well, think again. During a protest against the Mikes...
Yeah, so we'll look at that video tonight. Thank you. I don't normally feature YouTube horrors on our show, but I'll add it to our link library. I don't trust anybody with 1.7 million subscribers. I really don't. He's probably fueling Republican aggression against Antifa, which I think is warranted. But remember, this is divisionary politics that they're feeding us, and they want to promote that on YouTube. Now, I'll play that video tonight, but I'm not trying to create division between the left and the right. I'm really not. And I certainly don't support Antifa. So you want an escort too? Busarama wants an escort in his bus. Mr. Anderson. Busarama's here. He's all about remaking vehicles and turning them into something better. This 1995 Ford Escort sold for $55,000. Okay, how did that happen? Okay, there's only 25 of them in the United States. Okay, power comes from a 16-volt 4-fitted electric turbocharger paired to a 5-speed manual transmission. That's pretty interesting. So this sold for $55,000. I don't know. I can hardly believe it. It is a pretty cool design, I'll tell you that. I mean, golly. But I can think of a lot of other cars I'd buy for $55,000 than that piece of crap. It's probably going to be worth $1 million someday. So you never did a prostitute, never committed a crime, club kid. No, I'm unlike you. I am not a person seeking to get STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. I'm not into getting AIDS from a prostitute, no. But you are, obviously. Hey, I'm not here to judge you, man. You can go ahead and be a, prostitute-loving whatever, John. I mean, who am I to tell you what to do, dude? But don't judge me for being prudent and being a prude. Hallelujah. A shining example that Trump is an idiot. The saga continues. Okay. Thanks. I can't wait to look at that deeper and closer and figure out what it means. Oh, I get it. I've been the terrible. I get it. Antifa was holding a sign saying they don't bash pedophiles. That's designed to piss off everybody. Antifa is all about pissing people off. It's all about divisionary politics. Factionalizing us, getting us to hate each other. That's what Antifa was, a concocted group that came. I'm sure George Soros is behind the construction of that concept. There's not a real group of people who are called Antifa, man. They're not meeting in public places and secretly. They're just people on a payroll or something. They're paid rioters like Occupy. We all know that George Soros is practically behind the entire Occupy movement.
And now a message from the President of the United States.
He was even behind the Arab Spring, if you recall that. A lot of American Democrats were funding the American Spring, or the Arab Spring, they called it. They funded it starting in Yemen and other areas. Yeah.
My fellow Americans, I would like to address reports alleging that I was friends with billionaire convicted sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein and
This looks like fun. I'll play this tonight. Thank you. It's a Showtime original, so I can't really play it right now. Otherwise, I'll be facing monetization issues into the evening. YouTube will be directing emails at me, flooding them. You could have a one-night stand with that Ford Escort for $150. Yeah, one-night stand with the Escort. I don't need to get into an Escort like that for one night. You just thought of the word Ford Escort, so you looked up the most expensive Ford Escort. Thievery by design. Believe me, if I believed that Antifa was a real organization and they were trying to support pedos, I'd be concerned. But they're just designed for you to hate them. They're created so that you'd hate them. Thievery by design. Look at that.
Well, you know, this realm is about the image that you can see. It's also about death.
Well, that's kind of an upscale kind of a concept. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually hearing about money and death. That's going to be fun. We'll watch that later. I'm sure many of you are dealing with reality like that, you know? Trapped in your own financial nightmare. looking for a way out. Well, wouldn't a good loan, 2% be nice, or maybe $500 a month from the government? Yeah. So we have answers, and we definitely will feature that discussion tonight. How the dollar is sucking us dry. Hear that sucking sound? Those are your tax dollars going out your pocket. Suck, suck, suck. Okay, back to the other room. There I am. Thank you. I will play that tonight for sure. We got that one and that one. All153news.net. Great stuff over there. Hi. What do you mean by monetization? Well, the government's been borrowing money left and right. That's the reality. By the way, if you want to check out Scissor Fight's music, we got a couple buttons at Cool Rock here. This is the backbone of Cool Rock, what we're looking at right here. We're in the Cool Rock online community. Now, this is happening daily. This is the platform I use for my entire show. We broadcast, and we actually play. If you click these buttons, it'll take you to his music files. He's got really good music. A lot of stuff. Really, really, really big shoe. I won't play all of it, but you can play some of it. That doesn't show your talent at all, but I'm glad I was able to play that song without being monetized. What else do we have in our little lineup? We could play with an interactive computer, AI duet. Wow. See the construct of that? It was actually symmetrical. Wow, strung that along. Drum machine, anybody? And the harp. And don't forget our VR hangout where you could play in space. Or go to hell. Or hang out in heaven. Hallelujah. Or just draw circles all day long. And we got all kinds of fun stuff here. We got it's 3D galore over here. You can just have fun in the sun. It's like a 60s psychedelic journey into another dimension. You're traveling through another dimension. And if you click on the center button, the crouton in the middle, right next to the type button, right here, that has a whole array of virtual realms. Virtual reality is cloud-based in these areas. And even though it's on a two-dimensional plane on your computer, you can definitely see some pretty cool stuff. Here's SwissArmyMan.com. What this is about. I've never seen this one. Yeah, so all kinds of stuff to look at Cool Rock. We've got doorways into the internet that you'd never find anywhere else. That's what I love about it. It's just easy, fun, and free. Swiss Army Man. Okay. Help has arrived. Hi, I'm Manny. I'm here to rescue you. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I'm dead, so you can drag me and also drop me.
I bet you masturbate a lot.
That is hilarious. Here's a direct link to Swiss Army Man. Yeah, check that out. That is funny as heck. That's gosh darn hecky funny. All right, we've got games galore. We got we showed you The Walking Dead last night. We're talking about fun Friday stuff we can play on our Cool Rock console. Here's the Cool Rock console. And up on the upper right here is the Web Oasis button. Click that button up there, and it'll take you to an arcade. Actually, a doorway into the internet at weboasis.com, or excuse me, WebOasis. Anyway, click the link. It'll take you to drop-down menus galore, and you can travel all around the internet. And over here on the side is a whole series of stuff. Stocks. We'll go to stocks and take a look at that. This gives you a complete listing of stock values if you want to go do stock assessments. The big losers, American Airlines dropped -4 today. Apple Inc. went down $9.82. Going over the big losers in the market. Anyways, pages and pages of stocks. That's just one thing I clicked on. That was Web Oasis on the side. We go to the drop-down menu over here. You go to the arcade right here. And we've got a cool series of games. This zombie game is fun to play. You click on it, and the zombie opens up, and you look at the zombies coming at you, and then they click them and knock them out. It's just fun to play. And you can play this while you're watching our show, too. It's all about moving the screen around. But anyway, I don't think the zombie game is loading, or it is because it's slowly loading. Okay, thank you. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, it's taking too long to load. Even the zombies are taking forever. That's because I'm running through a VPN for security purposes. Oh, Sidethorn, Robert Usry update. Let's see what's going on with Sidethorn, the guy that was arrested for gun possession.
53news.net. How the heck are you guys doing today? Hope you are doing fantastic. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I hope you guys are wide awake. I hope you guys are not watching that television. But I know
he's the one of the founders of the. This guy is one of the founders of 153news.net, which offers alternative broadcasting over YouTube. A lot of people, patriots, conservatives who are getting kicked off the internet because they have conservative views, are going to 153news.net for a lot of their news and uploading when they get a chance to become part of their organization. And he's been doing a lot to talk about what happened to Sidethorn. Sidethorn was the guy that offered a $100,000 reward to anybody that had information on the school shooting that occurred out, it was in Texas, right? Texas school shooting. Anyway, that backfired on Sidethorn. The people were feeling harassed that were at that school shooting. They said that they didn't want anyone approaching them, and then he was told to back off. He didn't. Sidethorn then, and I'm not talking about this guy, but Sidethorn then was arrested on a weapons charge. Apparently he had a probationary period. He wasn't supposed to have a weapon. He had a weapon. So this guy's going to give you the full skinny on this, and we'll find out where Sidethorn is now in his case, because Sidethorn is fighting it. He believes he's been falsely accused of things, and he's going the distance. He's really putting himself out there. He and his wife are dealing with a lot of stress, all because they were trying to find out the truth about the Sutherland Park shooting. The church shooting at Sutherland Park. Wow. I do believe that these events could be staged. I don't know for sure, except that there's not a lot of evidence to suggest that these really are real shooting events. That shooting event showed no bullet holes in the church. None whatsoever. That was kind of weird. No bullet holes in the church. How do you have a shooting where no bullet holes appear in the church? So, lack of proof is the dominant theme in all of this. And I require proof to believe in anything. And I'm not getting a lot of it. Right, Hillary? That's right, David. I hope not either, Busarama. I mean, I think that, yeah, no broken glass, no blood. The church shooting was kind of a joke. unfortunately. And when people research the names of the decedents in that region, it didn't pop up as anybody in that area with those names. And a lot of people take the actual death list seriously and research the names of the people on the death list. They didn't exist. And that's not the only place this has happened. The same thing happened at Parkland shooting. Yeah. And that was the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting. Yeah, they had none of these people actually existed in that area with those names. A lot of fakery, a lot of crisis actor fakery. And I'm of the belief that they're pushing gun control. And that's their agenda. And we're supposed to buy it. It's a slow process they're pushing this on. It's like the creeping crud of gun control. Hitler did it during the 1930s and pulled the guns away from Jewish people, and we all know what happened to them right afterward. I know. Amber is doing very well. She's on 8 drops of CBD oil now. I upped her dose. She has got arthritis and Parkinson's disease, which is common among cats. I mean, I can see that she's got arthritis and Parkinson's. I don't have to be a neurologist to determine this. And I believe that her best pathway for betterment is sleep, petting, getting water, clean water, and regular food in her. Yeah, feline Parkinson's is common in older cats. So we're just keeping her happy and content. She's not that much pain, and I haven't even integrated aspirin or anything, so pet aspirin. Well, she has a shake. It started with like she was like going after the ball kind of thing, and her head would like go like this. And I thought that was a little weird, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And then her symptoms got a little weirder where she'd sit and shake, like, you know, it's just kind of weird. And I looked it up, and that's a symptom of feline Parkinson's. Thiamine, really? Okay. I wouldn't doubt that'll help. Yeah, maybe I'm going to get a vitamin mix from the pet store. I'm giving her CBD oil and a good solid thing, but thiamine might help. You're right. I'll look into that. Hey, Bob. Hey, you know, nobody's afraid of you, Bob. You and your dogs. You're not going to scare anybody here, buddy. Yeah. Hey, good news. There have been some people developing ideas that I've talked about on our show. And this is a concept that looks very promising. A floating solar still used to desalinate small amounts of seawater using evaporation and condensation. Now, I developed this concept in my book, Profile It in 2012, in Hybrid Capitalism. And in it, I featured a similar type of setup that's designed to float on the water and desalinate while it's floating. And I'm glad that other people are coming up with similar ideas, because these are the kind of ideas that could actually work. I don't care if anyone wants to create this on their own. I'm good with that. I believe in Creative Commons licensing and open source. But if they try to make money on it, solely on that design, and not allow anybody to copy it, I'll contest it. I will. I'll just use my book as the trademark violation that's being stolen from. Yeah, I mean, even if I passively mention it. Busarama, read it. Neurons. Let's take a look. Thiamine helps neurons. This is a preliminary report, but Parkinson's is benefiting from thiamine. Yeah, that's a human thiamine. Parkinson's, humans Parkinson's. Rigidity, slowness, tremors, movement, postural imbalance. Within days of thiamine treatment, the patients had smiles on their faces, walked normally with longer steps, increased their arm swings, and experienced tremor and less tremors at all. I'm seeing benefits from CBD oil as well, so thiamine is a good source. Yeah, that looks good. Thanks for the link. Thiamine. Pet vitamins. Thiamine. Thiamine deficiency in dogs has been noted. Okay. There's a lot of dog and cat thiamine deficiency issues. How your pet can become thiamine deficient. Pet Place has a article on it. Vitamin B1 for dogs and cats. I'll look into it. Thank you. Yeah, good tip. Appreciate it. I'm sure Amber will help you. Yeah, solar stills were in fact the first method used in a large scale to process contaminated water and convert it to potable form. Exactly. You can't really... And I want to remind you that 1,000 years ago, the Aborigines in Australia used solar stills like that to create fresh water from seawater or from brackish water. It's not a new process. Passive desalination cannot be patented. It's so omnipresent and it's been around for years. I think you're right. Good point. But all the more reason why we need more water and more solar stills. Good point. I don't think Bob had the dog bite off somebody's penis to save money on surgery. I think you're just making that up. It is a great solution. That's why I'm a strong supporter of the ocean pipeline. This concept we came up with in 2005 and still believe it. It's the solution for water throughout the world. This doesn't require any fossil fuel at all, and it can happen passively. Once you put seawater in here, it can sit. It doesn't have to be constantly moving. It can sit and just evaporate. There will be an algae problem developing in the seawater, and as the water flushes through, we'll have to expurge the water that has salt in it. So we'll have to come up with a better way of dealing with the water problem. So as we're looking at this area in here, we could probably put a large, like a typical septic pipe that they have with holes in it, and run it underwater all the way to the back of this thing and out the back end, and flush the salt water through, and put the salt water in an area that can even evaporate even more until we have like dried salt, and air out that dried salt, and then use it as a collector for molten salt, which can be used in solar concentrators. Molten salt has a purpose. When they melt salt, it produces so much heat that it stays boiling all night long, and they can actually use that to generate steam, which will create electricity throughout the evening. And that's how some of the really amazing solar concentrators are working right now in Nevada. Yeah, the algae could be converted into something useful. You're right. We can also grow fish in that area in here. This area could be like a V shape, and we could actually have aquifer with fish growing in here that could be harvested. We could have a robotic screen and a collector plate that would actually flush all the fish into one little place down here and store the fish down here and process them as meat. It could be any number of solutions in that area. The fresh water needs to be sent and put into a storable area that's safe, so we don't have to contaminate the fresh water with seawater. Well, I'm working on a couple of desalinators, one of which I plan on putting on the side of my house because I didn't tell you guys, but my area is getting water contamination. 10 miles from north of here and 10 miles south of here, they're dumping jet fuel in the ground. Right now, the Navy is dumping flame retardant as well. So in our groundwater 10 miles north of here and 10 miles south of here, the Navy has jet fuel and flame retardant going into the water aquifer. Yeah, it's great stuff, jet fuel and flame retardant. The flame retardant is the worst class of carcinogenic materials, which is considered a super dangerous product. The government, the Navy, will not in any way they won't stop using it. They've got flame retardant pollution in the Great Lake region, in Navy bases like the one near where I live, And it's happening in about 611 communities across the country. And the Navy won't stop using it. It's called PBDEs, and these PBDEs have been used as flame retardants since the 1970s, and they are deliberately added to a wide range of commercial and consumer products such as appliances, furniture, electronic devices, plastics, mattresses, and carpets. But the government there has been some action against these. They haven't stopped the use. And they're present and very toxic. The PBDEs are considered life-threatening and carcinogenic at as low as 1 part per million in your water. Now, they found 400 parts per million in our water north of here. 400 parts per million in our water, and like I said, 1 part per million is carcinogenic. Now, the Navy offered to put a $7 million facility in the community to bring that down to 27 parts per million. So now, after the $7 million facility goes in, it'll be 27 parts per million, but will still be toxic. Oh no, my water is pristine. We tested it recently. Yeah, our water doesn't have the flame retardant in it. We're 10 miles north, or we're right in the middle of these 2 dump sites. So we're good. I'm not concerned. We're very good. But you never know. You know, water could leach in and eventually cause, the ultimate contamination. So I might have to desalinate. I actually might have to use my ocean pipeline just for drinking water and just maybe shower with a filter on it. I'm just a little concerned that this is going on in 611 communities and the government's not doing a damn thing about it, other than offering a few filtration systems here and there, but that's not going to get rid of it. The very fact that the government continues to use it on a daily basis is enough to show you the level of incompetence at our Navy and across the nation with all these Air Force and naval facilities. It's ridiculous. Really? Tranny hour with the kids interrupted? Huh. Ministry of the Word. He's going to talk about the trannies out there. Check this out.
A large millstone be hung around their neck, and they be drowned in the depths of the sea. Kingdom of heaven by 45. Well, now I heard the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, this is very interesting. So they have a tranny that reads children's stories to the kids. This is their typical tranny that reads children's stories to the kids, confronted by a religious person. Now, they're both claiming they have the right to go to the public library and hang out in the children's section. This is a very interesting case of freedom of speech. Technically, the religious person has every right to do what he's doing. And technically, the gay or transgender person reading children's stories has every right to do what they're doing. So you're seeing a face-off in every single library in America. I will have to probably bring in armed guards at libraries to deal with this type of thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, we'll have to have an armed guard at all the children's library sections in America with a, fully packed with full regalia, submachine gun and, stun gun, and just to keep things under control so nobody gets out of whack and some tranny goes, "Stop that!" And some really religious person goes, "You shall be condemned in hell!" And they'll, "God, stop that!" That'll be a real face-off. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're both legally able to sit in the children's section and talk about the whole thing. So we'll definitely play that. I appreciate that link. Absolutely. Busarama, what do you got? And thanks, Wong Guang. Appreciate it.
Straight down. Oh my God.
Air tankers dropping retardant. Oh, you got the right. Yeah, let's check this out, folks. This is what we're dealing with. People in our government have okayed the use of these retardants, and I will show you one in action. Check this out. This is how out of it our nation is. They literally allow this stuff to get dumped on our heads, on our water, taking out our ability to function. Look at this. Flame retardant all over the forest. You know, it may help the bottom line, but it's not going to help you when you drink the water off of that groundwater. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I will definitely play that tonight. I don't know what this is. That's weird, man. Alright, I'm gonna check this out, man. Got a lot of things going on at Epstein. This is the big smoking gun. Epstein's nose does not match, and we've been talking about this for the past week. Yep. You're not supposed to hear music. What do you got? This is rare footage of a plane dropping flame retardant on a home. Okay, let me bring this in. One moment, please. No, it didn't work. Check this out. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get a better picture of this. Excuse me while I cover up Epstein's real nose and the guy who died in his place's real nose. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Whoa. Oh, look at that. Flame retardant everywhere. Nice. Thanks.
Oh my God.
That's on a Southern California fire. Unbelievable.
Holy shit.
Woo! The whole place got covered with flame retardant. You know, I'll bet he'll thank them. He probably saved they probably saved his house. You know? Thank you, sir, for saving me. I'll add that to my miscellaneous and chemtrail section. Is that you, Amber? Is that you, kitty cat? Oh, I hear you. Hang on. There you go. I knew I could use this for a purpose. Yeah. It's my flexible, hygienic water pipe for drip irrigation systems. Yeah, he may suffer from future cancer, but they saved his house from the terrible fire. Here's a school bus fire. Well, I hope no one was in it. School bus driving kids home. Everybody made it out safely. Good. Praise them. There was no one hurt in that fire. Blesseth you with Anyways, here we have pictures of Cindy Lopez and Sarah Kellen, the people that Epstein was using as wranglers. And their involvement, ironically, has been completely out of the news. And the FBI won't be even asking them any questions. Nor will they be talking to Ghislaine Maxwell, apparently. They don't want to ask her any questions because I really believe there's a stand-down order on the Epstein case. I believe Cindy Lopez may have been right around 18 or under, but Sarah Kellen is older. She's actually 30 years old. So she just looks young. Yes, as president, we will find Epstein where he's hiding right now, and we're going to go after this secret cabal that's controlling our government. They've got goods like pictures of compromising pictures of politicians around the country. in probably situations where they meet somebody at a party. Epstein said, "Oh yeah, she's 18 years old. Don't worry about her. She's good." And then the guy's with her, and meanwhile Epstein knows that she's 16, has photographs of the guy having sex with her. Then they use it against the guy. That's how they've been operating. That's how the cabal has been operating secretly within the confines of our government. So the people that have the goods on them, they can't tell anybody that they've got compromising pictures of that anyone can see, that Epstein could release. They don't want anyone to know that. So none of the people who are involved in Epstein's sting really want to be known. We showed you last night Matt Groening, and Matt Groening had been mentioned, you know, the creator of The Simpsons. Matt Groening had been mentioned by Virginia Roberts Giuffre in her testimony, and The Sun has the story. Krusty the Clown, Jeffrey Epstein's teen sex slave, gave a foot rub to The Simpsons creator Matt Groening, but nearly threw up over his yellow crusty toes, according to court documents that were just released. So apparently he has crusty yellow toes that she had to give a foot rub to, and Virginia Roberts said it was just, she wanted to make her vomit. So Epstein had this woman who's seen here with Prince Andrew. And by the way, these people gathered, Andrew met Epstein after Epstein had served his 13 months as a sexual predator. So Prince Andrew knew full well that that Jeffrey Epstein had been charged and served 13 months for sexual trafficking of minors. Anyway, there she is, Virginia, when she was 15, forced to give a back rub to none other than Matt Groening. Yeah. The world is getting weirder and weirder, and we're going to be finding out more. But I don't think these women are going to be pursued. I don't think they're even going to be questioned. I predict that the whole story is going to try to go away real fast. They don't want this to continue. The last thing they want us to talk about is Jeffrey Epstein being alive still. But they've got all their puppets and shills in order. Everybody's going along with their BS line. Even we showed you about a week ago, Beto O'Rourke responding to the El Paso shooting. Everything he said looked like a lie. Yeah, we had this video. This was funny.
Incredibly saddened, and it is very hard to think about this. But I'll tell you, El Paso is the strongest place in the world. This community is going to come together. I'm going back there right now to be with my family and to be with my hometown. And I want to thank the El Paso Police Department and the first responders. They are there right now, and we're going back to be with them. I'm incredibly saddened, and it is very hard to think about this. It is very hard to think about this.
It is very hard to think about this. It is very hard to think about this.
It is very hard to think about this.
It's very hard to think about this. He's full of crap, and he's a full-blown psychopath. Yeah. Your answer is yes and yes. Take your pick or both. I know. Don't think for a second these people are real. Beto O'Rourke openly wrote a book and published it when he was a hacker about how he wanted to murder children. He also had a hit and run where he was so drunk, he hit a truck, crossed into oncoming traffic, nearly killed a bunch of people, then tried to drive away from the scene with a .134 alcohol level. And he's running for president. Yeah, and then you've got Elizabeth Warren, who tested out at less than half of 1% with any Native American background in her blood, claiming she's Cherokee just to get a free ride in college, when people like me, top students, couldn't get a free ride, got rejected from numerous universities, and didn't get scholarships even though I was at the top of my class because I wrote Caucasian down. I could have claimed I had Algonquin in me because I do. I have a distant relative who's an Algonquin, but I didn't make any money. Plus, I'm not a woman either. She made money as a minority professor at Harvard for years. She needs to pay back to the affirmative action money. She needs to set up a scholarship fund for honest Caucasian people to get more money to go to college. Or better yet, Cherokee Indians. I think she should put together a Cherokee Indian fund of at least $3 or $4 million out of her own pocket, just to help Cherokee Indians go to college. Wouldn't that be just reward for her to do? Or she could just serve time in jail for fraud and perjury. Did Beto ever dump a woman in a car in the water? I don't know. Ask Ted Kennedy. He's dead. Was Beto O'Rourke at the Chappaquiddick incident? I don't think so. He wasn't born yet. So for many of you Republicans who still believe that Trump is telling you the truth, remember when Trump said he had $10 billion? Well, that's not what the net. Yeah, no. Trump only has $3.1 billion. And most of that's leveraged heavily by countless debtors like Deutsche Bank, Russian oligarchs, China. Trump's net worth is only $3.1 billion. So he lied. He lied, guys. He didn't tell you the truth. And remember when he said, "Oh, I'll gladly show you my tax returns for 10 years"? He hasn't. He's fighting desperately to keep those tax returns under wrap. So if you think for a second that Trump isn't involved with Russia, why is he hiding his tax returns so much every day? He's got teams of lawyers countersuing House Ways and Means Committee, and they don't have a single thing to stand on. House Ways and Means can access anybody's tax records, no matter who it is, including the president. So that hasn't come out yet. We still don't know where all that money came. You could see my tax return if I had one. Yeah, I haven't made hardly any money in the past 10 years. I've retired. I retired in 2010. I've been doing a nightly show every single day for 11 years now. Not a single penny have I drawn from this entire show. Not one penny. Yet people have made hundreds of millions of dollars from what I hear censoring me and keeping people from getting into my show. My chat shows at Vaughn and iVlog are all censored. Just telling you. You're lucky to be in our show, frankly. A lot of people try to get in here and they can't. Because I talk about some of the most sensitive issues out there. Like this story about the CIA agent who said that the agency supplies pedophiles with children. Yeah. Check it out. Yeah, I do. Thank you. In what has to be one of the most damning revelations of misconduct by the CIA, a veteran CIA agent has exposed the CIA for running a child trafficking network, which involves providing children to elite pedophiles around the world. John Kiriakou had been an agent for the CIA for 14 years and left the agency in 2004. He's also associated with Hollywood, having worked as an advisor to the movie industry. And he spoke at a World Beyond War event in which he talked about how he blew the whistle on how the CIA provides child sex slaves to powerful oligarchs in the showbiz industry. And they would provide these rich and powerful sources with constant streams of child prostitutes in exchange for information. The children are usually raped and killed, and likely to be never seen again, continued Kiriakou. Now we've got a situation on our hands where, yeah, I'll give you the link to this article if you want. I'll take a look, hang on.
Hello everyone, my name is Bridget and welcome to...
No, that's not Cindy. Bridget is not Cindy. But I would like to see Bridget. She believes she's an extraterrestrial mother, and I think that's kind of special. We'll play her tonight. Thank you for bringing Bridget in here. And Busarama. You got another crazy school bus fire? Oh no. Did anyone get hurt? I don't want to go there. Yeah. A lot of people running in 2020, I know. Jordan, hello. So if you click that link, ironically, it does work still. Yeah, check it out. Here's the link to the old story on the CIA running a pedophile ring. Yeah, so if you're wondering if Jeffrey Epstein has protection, and that's why Acosta said that he was part of the intelligence community and he had to have back off on the sentencing, now you know. In fact, it doesn't take a lot to piece this together. You'd think our leaders would be piecing this together right now. You know, they should have sprinklers on board all buses. I agree. Busarama, could you work on getting a sprinkler put in our bus that you're building? Thanks. And I think we should play a little 60s retro. And we're going to play you a little song. I think you'll love it tonight at the top of the hour. The Who's Magic Bus. Long version. With high quality sound.
Takes me to you.
Okay, we'll play that tonight. Alrighty. Alrighty then. It's always a challenge to, go through the links. Tragic story tonight, finalizing this part of our show. We talked about it in other parts. But death of an amazing writer and journalist. A young woman has passed away who was a Boston University student. Was visiting family in Atlanta. Yeah, it's apparently they're claiming her mother decided to kill her and her brother in a double murder-suicide. 58-year-old Marcia Edwards shot her 2 children inside her home before taking her own life. Highly unlikely. It's very likely this young journalist uncovered something very, very damning about somebody, and her entire family were taken out. That's what I'm getting. Mother of prominent Atlanta family suspected of killing 2 children. Doesn't add up. It looks like cover-up. And remember I talked about Nancy Schaefer in Georgia. She found murder-suicide with her husband. Good Christians never would have killed each other. The same thing. In Atlanta being the area, very suspicious. Atlanta is the center of child trafficking for CPS, allegedly. Yeah. The police discovered a family while performing a wellness check at the Vinings, Georgia home, located 12 miles north of downtown Atlanta. She was a student at Boston U and former intern for the NBC New York. So she was privy to some pretty powerful stuff at NBC. Yeah. Very suspicious. Her enthusiasm was infectious and her smile lit up a room. She was an incredibly decent, kind person who earned our admiration. Her talent was truly God-given. God. This is so sad. The mother founded a medical equipment supply company. Both adult children were shot and the mother appeared to die of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. I don't believe any of this. I want a full-scale investigation. This woman, her family were snuffed out, and I want to know what happened. Trump doesn't have a lot of power, no. I know. Thank you, Misanthropy, for bringing Bridget in the room. Trump is not, he doesn't have the ability to make any serious decisions. He hasn't prosecuted Elizabeth Warren for having no Cherokee. That was no prosecution there. He took my idea of getting a DNA test, claimed it was his, called her Pocahontas, and is sitting on that. He's not prosecuting Hillary Clinton on 3 or 4 counts of money laundering, racketeering, the Clinton Foundation, Haiti, Benghazi, nothing. He didn't want to act on the birther issue. Trump just gave it up like it was nothing. The fact that Barack Obama lied about his long-form birth certificate Folks, if you're a Republican and you've been thinking Trump is telling you the truth all along, Trump has been stealing my ideas left and right, and we've seen it in the chat room. I can get numerous people to corroborate it, that for the past 6 years he's been stealing my ideas and acting like they're his own. Most recently, Trump announced that he was going to, he used my wording. Remember I said gun control is off the table? And I've said that numerous times in our show. Trump is now saying background checks are off the table, using my exact same wording. After he said he was going to go with the red flag laws, now he's going background checks. Or he's literally using my words in the show. It's just crazy. So if you think you're getting a real person with Trump, you're getting a facsimile of a guy who can't even take my ideas and make them work. You're getting short change basically as a voter. A guy that steals ideas, that's not the kind of leader we want. We don't need a liar, we need a leader. And this guy is the grossest example of a bad leader. Well, I think we covered the stories that we have to cover. I mean, I want to close with just some nice thoughts for all of you. Yeah, I hope you have a good weekend. Try to enjoy nature, whatever's left of it in your area. So, Bridges with a guy? I don't care. That's fine. Whoever wants, are you jealous of the guy or something? Yeah, she's involved with a guy. Big deal. Well, you can see the game yourself, Busarama. It's a Steam-powered game called OMC2, Steam Edition, where you can create your own experience on your bus. Get on board. Experience a new omnibus simulator and start discovering Spandau while driving the omnibus. I think you'll have a fun there, Busarama. That's going to be a fun game for you. Enjoy. On sale now at your local Steam show. It looks like a great game. I don't play anything. I gave up gaming about 2 years ago. Sarah and I have not gotten back into gaming. Or was it 3 years ago? Yeah. Play it again, Sam. I wish I could port my Grand Theft Auto 5 characters to that game, but I don't know. The game predates Grand Theft Auto 5. It was created in 2012. Dave, are you on the bath salts? Nope, don't do bath salts. Never got into drugs. Hey, we're to close the ProCams down, but thank you guys for offering ProCam, and we'll get to that later. Got a lot of videos lined up, donated from various people in our show. Scissorfight brought us some nice links. We got a link on Israel and Epstein and how this goes back far, the Mossad. RT's got a study of this.
Reporting on the Jeffrey Epstein story way before it was cool to do so. We even went out on the limb and said this right here on this show. Let me ask you a very simple question. Do you think he will survive prison?
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason why. The fact
you don't think he'll disappear, given all he knows about some of the most powerful people in the world?
No. I think, no. Because it's too obvious. All right. It's too obvious.
But
he does disappear in the form of death. I don't believe that Jeffrey Epstein died. I have more than enough to convince me that Jeffrey Epstein is alive. So, looking at photographs like this convinced me that the death picture of Jeffrey Epstein does not match. Next week we'll be looking at the ears of Jeffrey Epstein, but this week we focused on the nose not matching, and you can clearly see that they've effectively covered up his death by putting somebody else in his place. This is a gross and egregious act by our government's top intelligence agencies to keep a guy in play. Claiming he has cover, Acosta said he was an intelligence officer, so to back off of the sentencing. Looks to me like the intelligence community is using blackmail against our own congressmen and people like Bill Clinton. I'm not so sure at this point how much Bill Clinton is part of this operation or how much he's been a victim of it. I have no idea. And if the government doesn't want to investigate, we'll never know. No, that's a guy who's not Jeffrey Epstein. The Jewish nose of the dead guy distinctly different than the Jewish nose of Jeffrey Epstein. It doesn't take a genius to realize that that was a different nose, okay, dude? If you want to sit there and live in La La Land, I can give you a little, picture to look at. If you look closely, it is moving. It just takes forever. That is your brain making a decision. And at the very center is a small orifice called your butthole. Yeah. That's the sense, that's exactly what's going on. It's like a slow process for you to figure this out. Stare into the butthole. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, your brain is like that mush, and you're unable to actually figure anything out. I'm trying to help you here, guys. I wish I could give you any more clarity. We don't need to listen to a bunch of airhead idiots like Ilhan Omar, who recently said that Israel is getting $3 million a year, when in fact they're getting $3 billion a year. Or Ocasio-Cortez, who totally blew it on the amount of money that Jeff Bezos was getting. $1 billion, she said, that she could have diverted to the homeless in her area. Meanwhile, cutting off a major building operation Jeff Bezos could have helped her community, when he was getting a tax break for $1 billion. And she said, oh no, that's $1 billion in our pocket. Not knowing what that is, yet she claims to have a bachelor's degree from economics at Boston University. How does a person get a bachelor's degree from economics in Boston University and not understand the difference between a tax break or tax credit and cash in your pocket? What an idiot. Anyway, moving on, we'll have more to talk about tomorrow when our Sustainable Saturday starts at 5 p.m. I know, that face really bothers me. I can't stand it. I hate it, that face. But I don't like that either. Things you don't like to look at. Thank you for taking this time to Friday night away from your daily life of watching Netflix and chilling. And we're hoping to enlighten a lot of people in our show. And we've constructed the enlightenment image for that purpose. Yes. I am here to enlighten you. Okay, this is it. Make no mistake about it. We'll be on till 1 o'clock with video from around the globe. Links that have been brought into our show tonight. We'll be playing that for you as well. This is me signing off. I am Mr. Right. Take care.
You're Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true. My world around, 'cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make it